Good to see you guys. A good win Saturday for our guys. Watching the tape, thought we did some good things offensively. Got to continue to shore up some things defensively and offensively both. But it was a good win. The best thing about it is we had the opportunities. We had to respond to their runs, and we did that two or three different times. We were up second half 14, 12, 11, and we responded. And then Monte and Deontay obviously were great. And so we've got a really good team. We're going to play Wednesday, Oklahoma State. Brad does a great job. Obviously, they're led by Evans, Forte. Jeffrey Carroll's having a great year. And obviously, they got a tough home environment over there. So, and there, obviously, we're going to get their best. And so we need to be ready to go. We got to be disciplined. The way they defend you, we got to make sure we take care of the ball and not give points off turnovers. That's going to be the biggest key of the game.
I think the Big 12's number one and number two in the country right now. Can you just comment on that and what's going on in this conference that you wanted to come join?
Well, it's good. It's the league is, top to bottom too. I think this year the league's really, really good. I mean, when you go, there is no bottom. I think you got elite teams and you got some really good teams, and so. Obviously, Kansas and Baylor, well deserving of those rankings. Baylor's had a tremendous year. Obviously, that game will sting over there for us, but credit them for finishing the game. But the league's great. It's been the number one RPI league the last 3 years. I don't know where we're at right now, RPI-wise, but it's great playing in a great league. I think it helps you in all facets, NCAA tournament, recruiting, the whole 9 yards. So, but congratulations to Baylor, and now we all got to get ready. Now they got to so their reward for number one is they go to West Virginia, I think, right? So that's and people you're not talking about West Virginia. I watched them against Oklahoma State. Man, they're good. They're really good. So Kansas State, I saw they're ranked. And so that's great for our league.
How familiar are you with Brad at all?
I just being at Stephen F. Austin, when he was at Stephen F. Austin, I was at Murray. It's hard to schedule games, so we actually, I don't know if he remembers, as I was recruiting in Memphis, he called me and asked me if I was having trouble with scheduling games. And I told him, a little bit, and then he was having a heck of a time. We had talked about maybe just doing a series, like a best-of-5 series during the regular season. And getting with TV. I thought it was a pretty cool concept he talked about. Play 2 at Stephen F., 2 at Murray, 1, back, which I thought was a pretty cool idea. I don't know if he'll remember that or not, but I think when you're at good mid-major schools, you just kind of follow each other and got to know him a little bit. I don't know him great, to where we're talking on the phone and everything, but I got a lot of respect for what he did there and what he's capable of doing at Oklahoma State.
Was that close to coming to fruition at all?
No. It was more of just, I think, just kind of a brainstorm, just because it's hard to get games, and so I think that was a quick phone, not a quick phone call, but it didn't really gather much, but I've known him from afar, bet more than I do, but he's been good to me and obviously does a great job.
Can you give us some insight on your conversation with Cameron, assuming you met with him yesterday?
Yeah, I just talked to him, and I'll let you guys talk to him at some point. I really just want to get him here and get him adjusted to college. People talking about if he's going to play. He's not even going to practice right now. He's I want him to get some structure. And that's the thing I talked about, today. He was up at 7:45. He had academic meetings, class. He'll hit his physical sometime this week. And then next week we'll start integrate him into a strength and conditioning program. We will have him start observing practice this week, obviously. I don't know what part of practice, he's so far behind, it's hard to just throw him right into 5-on-5. So some closeout drills, some shell drills to where he's learning, and then we'll do individual workouts, and then we'll slowly bring him along to get him into practice. But he was good. I think he's really just excited. Him and his mom, I think, are just really excited he's here. And so, once he gets settled and gets through this week, then you guys can grab him.
Is that measured, I guess, or taking your time with him? Should we read into that of how realistic you guys think about him being an impact player this year?
Yeah, I just can't see it right now. He's not even going to get physical. I don't even know they had told me last night maybe Wednesday. So, we got 2 road games this week. We got Kansas then on that Monday, to where it just doesn't seem realistic to me. And so it's not even something I'm thinking about. I just want to get him into some structure and get him a day-to-day routine going and get him comfortable before I think about anything else.
You talked about Donovan a little bit right here. Talked about Donovan a little bit after the game and his defense. How much of that has been natural? You said the first time you saw him, his defense.
I think he
stood out.
loves to defend. I think something came out. I saw something. I'm not on Twitter like I used to be, but I follow the basketball stuff, and I just saw. I said I think I drove him crazy, not he drove me crazy. I think it came out the other way, so I just wanted to correct that. Just with having to deal with the way I was playing them and playing time, and so it's hard for them. But I think the best thing Donovan's done, his attitude's been great over the last couple weeks. He's hung in there. He's played 20 or more minutes. I think we've won every game, and he's played really well. Defensively, he's been terrific for us. I mean, he's really guarded. He can guard the other team's point guard. He's a gnat on the ball, and he's really, really active. And so that's something I thought he could do. That's one of the things I really liked about him. A, his ability to shoot, but B, he could defend it the way we want to.
This will be your first chance to see Evans up close. What makes him so tough to go against, and what's it going to take to slow him down a little bit on Wednesday?
Well, he's really good. I mean, the thing about him, he doesn't shoot a ton of threes, but he can make a three. I think number one, I think he's got a great body, great athlete, really good with the basketball, great in transition. They sent a ton of drag ball screens, wide drag ball screens. We've got to do a great job in our ball screen defense against him. You got to keep him out of the paint. You got to contest shots. You got to get back in transition, limit him getting from end to end. He's really good, and so we can't be on our heels against him.
Coach, when you watch Brad Underwood on TV and from afar, he seems like one pretty intense guy. In that sense, how has he changed that culture in the year just based off of the tape that you've seen?
I think, watching them play, and Oklahoma State last year was, you lose Forte and Evans. That's hard for any coach to deal with. That's tough. But what he's done is he's established an identity of toughness, of the way they compete. They're really good defensively. From a standpoint, they turn you over, and they really turn you over. Their stats won't knock you over, but they turn you over. And when they're turning you over, they're really good defensively. They make you, I think they make you really tough for you to run offense, run half-court offense. But I think the biggest thing he's done, but up close, I think he's really different. Brad's been great with me, funny, down to earth. Really good guy. But I think he's put a culture in there right now that I see of just toughness, a little bit of grit, and that's just how his teams play. That's how his teams are built.
Wednesday, Saturday, Monday, what kind of toll, if any, does that take on you, your staff, your team?
Well, that's why you just go day to day. Today's Oklahoma State. We'll have a good practice today. Tomorrow's quick because we got to go at 1 because we leave, mid-afternoon to go to Oklahoma State. Then it's a quick turnaround. You come back and then you fly right back because you got another afternoon or kind of late afternoon game on Saturday. And then you're right back again, like you said, on Monday. And so take it day to day. I got to do a good job of, preparation and then also getting our guys the amount of rest they need, but still preparing the right way. But you can't get too far ahead. You just got to. It's the third game or fourth game in conference, and we got to just be ready for that. And then when that thing's over, then we'll get ready for TCU. But this Wednesday, Saturday, Monday. It is a tough stretch from a standpoint of a mental and physical stretch. But that's the great thing about this league is it is Big Monday, is the opponents that you get to play, and so we got to be ready.
Did you think about staying out on the road?
No, I would. When I was driving around, I think about everything, and I was like, that wouldn't be a bad idea. I was like, man, if I was, where I used to be, we'd probably just stay gone for 4 days, and so, but, the Oklahoma State flight, I think Micah told me today, is just an hour, so you'll be back in no time, and then we'll go back. But you could do that, but, we got school and that stuff. That's probably a priority, too.
For Donovan, has anything changed or evolved with him to go from where he looked like back into the rotation type of player to being an impact player now for you guys?
Well, I think the biggest thing is he's just, everybody, stay the course. I've said in the past, and, I think, Matt said it before here with football, and I use it a lot, but it's true. I mean, you got to stay the course. Your character has to win out, and he hit some rough spots from a standpoint of obviously being frustrated, and which I understand. I get that, but he's changed. His work ethic's been really good, and then when you have your chances, you have to respond, and you have to play well. And it doesn't mean get 28 points. It means, is he doing what we need him to do? And he's been really good, and so I've got a lot of confidence in him. If we go 4 guards, him playing and being in the rotation for long minutes. And the one thing, he can play extended minutes too. Got great conditioning and great quickness.
What's allowed him for that? I mean, he's been a big part of that 4-guard lineup as much as you would think it would be the 4-man that would be important, but he's been a big piece of that. What's allowed him to kind of carve out his niche in that lineup?
I think just the defensive end. I think the defensive end has been the number one part. Offensively, you look at his stats some days, and he's missed some shots here and there, but, I thought he impacted the game. I don't know if it was a Tech game. I think it was a Tech game maybe. He impacted the game a lot in that game and didn't, I don't know what his stat line was scoring-wise, but I think just understanding his role, I think he's really embraced his role right now, and that's been big. And his shot selection, has been good. I still want him to be aggressive and take open threes because he can really make those, but I think he's been locked in on – kid plays with a lot of energy, and a lot of passion, and that's fun to watch.
Coach, with Deontay back here, it seems like we've heard how much of a matchup nightmare he can be for other teams. Do you think this team goes as far as Deontay can go this season?
Well, he needs to play well for us to win big games. He needs to play well. That's the bottom line. We go on the road. He needs to play well Wednesday, to give us a chance, because you got to have your forwards to be versatile, to make plays, the way they pressure, the way they spread you out. I thought that was his best game the other night by far, because he was efficient, he was unselfish, and we need that Deontay. I texted him on the way home. I said, man, that's the Deontay we need, and it's not about he made shots, but he played the right way, I thought. He took what the defense gave him at times. When they helped off, he made threes. When they guarded him, he drove it, made a huge extra pass to Matt in the corner for the 3. We need him to rebound more because we need that. But he was great the other night. We need him to be good. For us to max out, I've said it, he's got to play well.
What's the challenge then for not him, but for everybody else, when you need him to be good and that maybe isn't an every night thing? How difficult is that for everybody else when you don't know, I guess, which Deontay?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of it, and it's what's you don't know because, I mean, it's, a shoot-around doesn't base it. Practice doesn't base it. He practiced awesome Friday before Texas Tech. Awesome. I mean, he was chasing guys off screens, and then he didn't play well, and then he comes back and had a great performance. And so you just got to talk to him about consistency. You got to talk to him about focus. Keep telling him how much, he means to his team. But also if he's not getting it done, then I've got to have the toughness, to say, all right, we got to go with Babbitt at 4 and Bowie Solomon at the 5 like we did against Tech. And you got to have confidence in those guys. But if Deontay can get it done, it obviously helps a lot more.